So what's going on, guys? Gabe here with ReviewDork, and well, I'm here in Gemini State Park. And so why am I here? Well, today's the first day where I could actually hear myself talk, and this is a video that goes out to those who are hearing impaired or deaf, hearing challenged, or for people who may want to know what it's like to live life hearing impaired or not being able to hear. What is it like to be deaf? And being deaf, it's one of those unique handicaps. When someone's blind, they have a stick or a guide dog. When someone is paralyzed or an amputee, well, they're in a wheelchair. But when someone's deaf, you normally don't know it until you talk to them. So while I'm recording this video, I'm not sure if you could hear the wind. I can't. I'm not sure if there's birds in the sky, and if you hear them chirping, God bless you. I can't. If I sound weird to you right now talking, I'm sorry. I can't hear myself. So what makes me uniquely qualified to talk about being hearing impaired? After all, I am talking, no speech impediment. I would like to think I'm pretty articulate. However, my left ear has never worked, and I've gotten through life with just my right ear. Through a sequence of unfortunate events of which I will not talk about in this video, I lost my hearing completely. This is my doctor's note. Now, according to this office clinical summary, I am scheduled for an MRI because my hearing, well, is sensorineural. And that type of hearing loss is basically a short circuit between the eardrum and the brain, which makes me very susceptible to hearing loss should I play a contact sport. Now, I love boxing. I enjoy boxing. I love football. I enjoy basketball. I enjoy all contact sports, but because of my condition, I was never ever able to play those sports. But my life has changed considerably in the past week, so much so that my test shows that my pure tones on my right ear, I have experienced profound to moderately severe. My WD scores were 48%, meaning my word recognition was 48%. Let me tell you, that's very tough. Now, if you're watching this video, now if you sat there wondering why I muted it, and you were able to read my lips, God bless you. But reading lips was a technique that I've learned to build over the years. You see, being deaf comes with a stigma. It's not one of those things where you're blind and you have a walking stick, or you're an amputee, or you're paralyzed, or you have a walker or a wheelchair. Being deaf, it's one of those things where you look like everybody else and everybody else expects you to be them, until they become aware that you're not. And that's where frustration comes along. You see, communication all on itself is very frustrating. You have to watch what you say, you have to say what you mean, you have to mean what you say, you have to worry about the words you use, how you come across. And if that's not a challenge enough, imagine trying to anticipate those words by reading lips. Imagine interrupting the flow of communication because you can't hear it. Now, for those of you who are watching this video who are in fact hearing impaired, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. For those who are not hearing impaired, who have a loved one, or maybe have experienced sudden hearing loss. Now, for those who are going through what I'm going through with sudden hearing loss, for those who feel that their dreams are long gone, I'm here to tell you it's not. You see, one of the beautiful things about being handicapped is that you learn to appreciate all your other faculties. Sure, others might judge you, they might see you as incompetent. Sure, society is not equipped to be able to adapt to our situation or your situation. You know, going to school is one hell of a job, right? But being hearing impaired doesn't mean it's the end all for you. I encourage you guys, if you've ever experienced hearing loss, I encourage you guys, if you were born deaf, parents, if you have a deaf child, brothers, sisters, if you have siblings who are hearing impaired, it is your responsibility to encourage them to find a passion, to maybe compensate for what they consider is a loss, but it could very well in fact be a gift. There are statistics out there that individuals who are hearing impaired have a higher degree of dementia. And why is that? Well, because there's lack of social stimulus. We tend to withdraw. We don't want to be talked to. And for fear of not fitting in. We try to fit in, but we're the weak link in the line of communication, and we learn that people often become frustrated with us. So you have the social withdrawal, and with that comes depression, and with that comes a sense of not being able to accomplish anything, not being able to go to school, or not able to secure a relationship or have a romantic relationship, not able to play sports or contact sports for fear of getting hit in the head will make you lose your hearing completely. And this is where I'm standing right now on my journey. I've been prescribed steroids, and hopefully in 2 weeks I improve. Hopefully. But my worst nightmare has come true. You see, most of my life I always said to myself, if I just had a little bit of hearing, I can get far in life. What does having that little bit of hearing do for me? It lets me run a business. It lets me play with my son. It lets me edit these videos. It lets me talk to you guys. Being able to hear gives me joy. I'm a musician. I come from a family of musicians. I love music. I love to dance. Now, I'm not sure if I'll be able to experience all of that the way I remembered. More importantly, my son, 3.5, 4 years old. We know how they're very soft-spoken. And I feel like I'm missing out on so much. When my son was born, I went through the checklist. Fingers, toes, eyes. He was perfect. When the doctor finally checked his eardrums and they vibrated, she said, he's good. It's the biggest relief in my life ever. He's an amazing little boy, and I love him. I've had so much fun in these 4 years getting to know him, talk to him. But right now, I'm scared that I won't get to know the rest of his life. And for those who have all their faculties, just keep in mind when you come across a handicapped person, deaf, blind, amputee, paralyzed, challenged with disease, don't pass judgment and don't judge them. Don't treat them as they're less than you. After all, you have all your faculties, and I've had to try 100 times harder, and so have my peers. We've had to try 100 times harder just to belong to your reality, to be accepted by you. If I could be a voice, even though I can't hear myself, then you know what, maybe I've come to that intersection in my life where I found my life's purpose. So being hearing impaired comes with its challenges. Can't join the military. Can't play sports. Well, some of you can. I can't. You make a horrible witness. You'll provide an even horrible testimony. Chances are it'll just get written off and dismissed. Because you're not a credible witness. After all, do you want somebody with just eyes? Or do you want somebody with eyes and ears? You go through school subjected to bullying. Treated differently. Sitting in front of the class. Still not being able to hear. Being scolded and reprimanded for not paying attention. Well, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. But now I want you to hear me. We live in a beautiful world. But what makes this world so beautiful is humanity in itself. We all have different perspectives. But those perspectives can be unified if we're open-minded enough to sit down and talk about perspectives. Instead of pointing fingers, instead of treating someone as if they're incompetent, instead of subjecting them to a depression because they're already feeling like the odds of the world are already against them. Celebrate the fact that they're human, just like you. Because after all, we wish we could be like you. This is Gabe. I'm signing out. Peace.